last year we took a big risk. We sold our house, bought a vandalized RV, renovated, and traveled the country full time. And you might think, well, how could you possibly do that? We were full-time real estate agents. Today we're going to share with you how we did it and give you some ideas on how you could change your life drastically by traveling maybe just a little bit more, or maybe seasonally, or maybe traveling full-time. Stick around to the end, we'll tell you exactly how we did it. But first I'm going to give you a bunch of ideas how you can get started and some things that you might want to consider doing if you really want to take time to see the world. Here's a question for you. If you could travel full-time starting right now, or if you're already traveling full-time, where's your number one destination that you want to go in the entire world? Go ahead and post that in the comments below.
And I would say too, it doesn't have to be full-time. We went pretty drastic and we went full-time RV living. You don't have to go full-time to really go out and create an adventures. And most people think, oh, well then it has to be all summer long. Doesn't even have to be summer. It's any season, there's opportunities available.
And that's what actually this channel is all about, is to be willing to change it up. It's life untethered. Untether yourself from your old beliefs, your old things, your old job, things tying you down, your old zip code, so you can go live this life. Dude, life is short. I mean, do you want to spend your whole life sitting in a cubicle waiting for that pension so when you're 65 or 70 you can take that cruise to Alaska? Or do you want to start living now? You can. It is totally possible to start living right now. You'll have to make sacrifices. I know everybody's situation is different, and just you might think that, oh well, you guys were rich or had piles of money, but we were not. I was not ready to do this. She kind of shoved me into this. I'm like, yeah! And we've had many months where it's like, yeah, how are we going to do it? But we've always been able to pull it off.
And the biggest thing for me, and as most of you know, if you've looked at our first video, I was diagnosed with breast cancer several years ago. And to me, that was a humongous wake-up call. We're still going through processes and things, and I'm not 100% out of the woods, but I'm living. And to me, that was the biggest thing, because I was working a lot of hours, grinding. There was times that I just was...
And she was very stressed. If you know anything about real estate, it's a very stressed... People think, oh, you sell a house and make a bunch of money, it's a piece of cake. Dude, it is hard work and very stressful, especially for her.
Yeah, very stressful. And I just knew that we needed to change things up. I needed to be able to see my kids, see my grandkids, and have those opportunities and be happy. And I'm really happy. And every single day, I'm all about getting out and doing something.
Yep, she's constantly pushing me. In fact, the other day we were sitting in a kayak and I'm like, Leela, I want to get a boat and go live on a boat full time. And
one challenge with that, I get motion sickness.
She gets seasick. So I'm like, But I saw this other channel, Gone with the Winds, and there was like looking up sailboats. Like, dang, that would be really cool. But here's some ideas. Here's some things to think about if you're considering traveling more seasonally or full-time. Number one, consider what's valuable to you. We're all going to be dead someday. You can't take any of your stuff with you. When we spend our entire lives accumulating more stuff, we think we need the latest car and the biggest house and the coolest iPhone, and you spend all your money and there's nothing at the end of the month. Just change your spending habits a little bit and go, you know what? I want to start traveling maybe just a month a year, a month at a time, and start saving money and being more frugal. Number two, do you have number two?
Well, no, I was just going to expound slightly on that. I recently did a webinar with somebody, and one of the things they had you do as an exercise, they were trying to get you to find money. And she's like, look, go around your house. And she had people go around their house and find things that were in their house that they immediately sold. It was kind of amazing, the things that people came up with. They got really creative. They went to Pinterest. Some of them, like, they had some wood and they had some of this and they put it together, and they were actually able to go into Facebook or different things. So they got really creative to come up with some resources. So that would be an option, is to get rid of stuff that you have sitting around.
For sure. So that's number two. Number three, when you think about travel, you don't have to go to the most expensive city in the world first class. Like, we've been traveling in an RV. We're also going to be traveling the world some more as the world starts opening up after this pandemic kind of chills out. But think about places you can go that are inexpensive. There are places in this world where you can live like a king for a couple grand a month. do research on that. And we're learning that. We got a lot to learn. So we'll share as we learn, as we travel, as we get even outside the RV life and start seeing more of the world. But there are places you can go that you can travel really, really inexpensively here in the US and abroad.
And there's a lot of options to do that. And there's tons of websites and various things to be able to find just about anything. I think it's way easier to do this kind of lifestyle now than, say, 40 years ago.
Oh yeah, with the internet and everybody wanting to do it, there are so many options and opportunities out there. You just got to spend a little time, and you can make it a game. Like, hey, how cheap can we go live for $1,000 a month like kings in some other country? Can we do that?
Yeah.
She's actually really good at that kind of stuff. In fact, side note, we've got 6 kids. And we haven't always had like great income. We had some struggling years. And there were times when this woman would go into a supermarket. She was a coupon queen. This was 15, 20 years ago, probably 20 years ago, coupon queen. She'd go into a supermarket and walk out with 2 shopping carts full of food. And didn't they even give you a check one time?
Well, they would pay me like I would get credit.
Like, it was like, you can't do that so much nowadays. But the point is, there are massive opportunities to be smart and frugal if you want, if this is something you're interested in.
And it doesn't always have to be frugal. There are some ways, and we're going to talk to you about people that live extremely comfortably and travel full time in their RVs. And there's some great ways. There's some great resources. We've got 3 or 4 sites that we'll specifically talk about today a little bit and link you to. And I'm a little bit jealous because Trevor's taking the first international trip since COVID's opening up. He is scheduled to go to Peru in like 7 or 8 weeks. So he's going to go spend some time in Peru with his brother. So I'm a little bit jealous, but it's okay.
So let's share with them right now. This video is a bit different because usually, my background was as a Hollywood editor, so I want to make all our videos edited and fancy and fun. And this one's just going to be an informational video with us. And I did a little research. We have our own experience, and she did a little research. We've never really quite done a video quite like that. And I don't know what she's going to talk about. And I mean, I've kind of talked about most of my stuff, except when I tell you later about what we actually did. But Leela, why don't you share with us some of the ideas that you found doing your research, ways that people are traveling either seasonally or full-time, and how they're making money. How do you make money?
Well, I was on, and I researched several things, and it was really truly a question because I think it's just kind of fascinating what people do. One of my favorites so far that I found, there is a couple. They play Santa and Mrs. Claus from like October to November. They earn enough money in those months to travel full time. I thought that was fabulous. I know one couple, and they go through workcamp.com. That is one of those that I'm going to talk. And they spend 10 months a year as camp host. They go north and then they go south, depending on the weather. I thought that was fabulous. They get free site hookups. They get free propane, discounts at the camp store. Sometimes there's a little bit of pay involved. And typically these are part-time jobs. Typically 20 hours a week is what I'm tending to see as I was scrolling through the site. But there's high demand for that. So if that's something, even working 20 hours a week and being able to explore areas, and it's not like you're stuck at one area. There's some that they want a commitment of a couple months. But heck, man, I said to Trevor yesterday as I was looking, I'm like, hey, you want to go spend a couple months in North Carolina? I think something like that. He's like,
not really.
I don't know, just for the experience, because I think it's really and truly a great way to go in and just kind of dive in. And if you're only working 20 hours a week, you've got time to go explore the areas around you.
And that's the thing. If you're traveling, if you end up doing something crazy like selling your house and going full time, you can live for less than having a full-on house payment. You can live with much less income. Now, another thing you might want to consider, a lot of you, I'm sure, watching this are like, hey, dude, I got a full-time job. It's 9 to 5, Monday to Friday, I get 2 weeks off. What you can do is ask your employers, like, hey, is there a way I can do this remotely? And I know some jobs you can't, but there are a lot of jobs you can do remotely. I think Twitter last year said, hey, it's all remote. You're all working out of your house. There are a lot of jobs that you can do remotely, even if you think that you can't. And you might want to consider, this is kind of the tangent to that, what is your career, your current job, and then consider doing it freelance. So you can do it for, a month or two, maybe travel to a destination or where your actual home is, and then be free, or do it remotely from your RV or from your hotel in Paris.
Yeah, well, that's kind of segues into what I was going to say a little bit about this. I know three individuals. Now, they weren't looking to go travel full time or RV full time, but one of them is my aunt. She her job during COVID. Most of the company prior to this was trying to scale back, and she was one of the few people still going and commuting a really long commute up in Seattle. Um, During COVID, they decided we don't need the overhead. It wasn't any, there was no need for it. So they shut down all their office buildings. So now she travels between Seattle and Florida because she's got a granddaughter there. So I think there are just opportunities no matter what you're doing.
You just have to
Just ask.
ask.
And I know someone else recently, the husband decided they wanted to move out of state. It's one of my past clients. And she just asked, and they said, sure, you've been a great employee. So they kept her on. This is a major corporation, too. So it's just asking.
And you might think that your career doesn't have that opportunity, like maybe you're in the medical profession, you're a nurse. There are such things as travel nurses. And you might think, oh, I'm a hairstylist, I can do that. Guess what?
Yeah.
Guess how much business you could get at an RV resort if you like, hey, I got a hairstylist on staff.
Well, I've got one better. So our son and daughter-in-law, our daughter-in-law runs a spa up in Bear Lake, which I actually worked in the surf store this summer.
She did. She didn't get paid. She's doing a favor for the daughter-in-law,
I
but
was helping. But you know, honestly, I liked it. And my thoughts are, if we go back there for an extended time in the summer, I might just work a couple of shifts a week. I don't know. It was enjoyable. However, I did get my pedicure done while I was there and was talking to the girls. My daughter-in-law and all the stores up there, they hire people seasonally. So they don't even have to get jobs. They're not trying to get their clients or anything else. The clients come into them, and they're making really good money for the 3 months that they're there, 3-4 months. And so that's another great resource.
Yeah, if
you could go to probably almost any seasonal type resort, whether it be, and I'm just telling you, think about seasonal is not just summer. It's summer, winter, different times of the year.
depending on where you are in the world.
Yeah. And there are places that you could walk in and just become a seasonal employee, as far as a hairdresser, massage, esthetician, any of those type of positions. So that's a great one. Post-seasonal jobs. Now we think about the summer season as we keep talking about, but think about this, guys, remember? There are companies that hire just for the Christmas season. So I know one couple, they worked at Amazon for 4 months during the busy season last year. During the off season, they were in Yellowstone as camp hosts. Then they went and they were working for Amazon for a few months. So there are ways to do this.
Other places you can use are websites like Fiverr or Upwork. In fact, I have somebody I'm working with right now today because I've got a digital product and I needed somebody to write some copy for my sales funnel, basically for my website. So I've got a guy in the United Kingdom that is doing work for me off of Upwork, and I'm paying him a lot of money. So it's not like you can get low prices there. Jobs are in high demand. Like for me to find a writer was really hard, and I'm not finding cheap writers either. These guys are getting money. If you have a skill set, there are people that need it. I mean, if you look around, if you drive around a city, there are help wanted signs everywhere. So finding temporary work's not hard, and finding work online is not hard. At the end of this, I'll talk to you about how we actually make money online while we were traveling full time, and how we're still making money online.
And that kind of segues. There was one person that responded, and she's a proofreader. I mean, definitely a proofreader does not need to be anywhere where they have to go in. And she just does a lot of proofreading, and it's Proofreading LLC. It's where she gets all of her work from. So I thought that was kind of a dynamic. I know there's people that travel and just work on the windmills, those big solar powered windmills that are across the country. And it said it's his favorite job he's ever had, would never go back to doing anything else because he just travels wherever they need help maintaining those solar, and gets to travel across the country. And a lot of times those places, if you're in an RV or trailer, they allow you to park on their grounds, or the farm or something like that. I'm going to actually read this one because I copied this. I just thought this was so fascinating. He said, I work as an operation manager for a company that grows and packs and sells watermelons. So I follow the crop seasonally from Florida, Alabama to Delaware, and I get to park at some pretty nice places, either at the farms or at a state or county parks out in the country. When I'm back in Florida, I stay there. There's another one. Somebody's a remote job. They work for Med Spa. And if you don't know what Med Spa is basically online company that sources out and finds you opportunities to go to different spas, and it's a gift certificate program, but she just works remotely answering phones.
So the thing to think about is, what skill set do you have, or what skill set would you like to develop? So start working on it. It's like, oh, I don't have a skill set that I could market yet, or that I could use and do remotely or with freelance work. Well, A, you probably do. And B, if you don't, start working on it now, man. In 12 months is going to lapse. And in that 12 months, you could have developed a whole new skill set that you get paid for, or you could just be exactly where you are today. So go ahead and just take some steps to move forward.
The other one that could really, especially with more RVs out there on the road right now, is if you have maybe a little bit of a skill set as a mobile RV mechanic.
Or as if you have any basic skills like home repair kind of skills, there is humongous demand for getting RVs worked on. We went to a shop and we were broken down in Colorado. You can watch our, in fact, there's a video like right up over there.
Yeah,
you can watch that video.
Very cold.
We broke down, propane gone, water pipe stores, all that stuff. But we went to a mechanic shop, and I asked the guy about his background. And he's like, I just know some handyman stuff, so I got a job here, and he fixes RVs. You know, if he doesn't know, he Googles it. Like, you can figure stuff out. Here's one thing I learned. This is kind of a little bit of a tangent, but one thing I learned when I was in the entertainment industry, first starting to work there. I went for my first job. I go to this guy named Tom at a company to work as a tech, wanting to be an editor early on in my career. And I knew some stuff, but I figured he probably knew as much as I did. And in any industry, it's all really segmented. He was a pretty sharp guy, knew a lot of technical stuff, but he didn't know all the stuff I did. And I had plenty of skills to be of value to that company. You don't have to know everything about everything. If you know a little bit more about something than other people, there's probably a position for you in the company or for yourself to get your own work. Does that make sense?
Totally makes sense. Okay. Totally makes sense. So there are 3 websites that I visited yesterday. I think there may be even a 4th one. The one that I really liked was called "This Is Your Life, Go Live It." And when you go on their website, it says, where do you want to be tomorrow? I thought that was such a great way, because I'm like, where do I want to be tomorrow? Let's go see if we can you could go have a job there. A variety of jobs, but that was at coolworks.com.
We'll put links for all the sites down below.
Coolworks.com. And the other ones are rvjobexchange.com and workcamps.com. Those were several of the websites that I went, and some of them were about seasonal works. And like I said, seasonal isn't just summer. I think there's really a high demand in the off season to find the right person to man some of these camps. And I know that there's a lot of people out there that say, okay, I don't really want to be a camp host. I'm not sure. I would just say, ask somebody. And to me, camp hosts are some of my favorite people. Whenever we're
I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I know. But whenever we're camping or whenever we're in a site and we have a question that needs to be answered, I usually would go and ask the camp host, and we get the best information.
And stories.
And stories. But I was going to say our Bigfoot story came from a camp host.
That's right.
If you have any suggestions that we haven't covered here or something that's creative, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, because we'll probably make round 2 of this, and we'll use your information. We'll give you credit for sure.
Here's the moment you've all been waiting for. How did we travel full-time last year as full-time real estate agents?
And we still like each other. Kaylin wouldn't be in this video today, but she still loves us too.
Most of the time. How do we do it? Well, number one, most of our income, from in 2019 and even in 2020 actually did come from real estate, even though we were traveling full-time for most of the year last year.
Airplanes. I jumped on airplanes often. And I would literally just jump on a plane. I'd schedule as many appointments as I could, close together, rent a car, stayed at friends' houses. Sometimes I'd just jump in the plane, work all day long, return to the airport, and fly back. Right.
And as far as real estate, we're both licensed real estate agents in California still. She does all the hard work. I'm more the marketing video guy. But we did several transactions on the road last year, and you can do
in the middle of a transaction right now in California.
Right. So. And we're not in California right now. And literally 90% of real estate you can do remotely. So she would travel, plus we have an agent there on our team that can take care of some things, and we have other people that can take care of little things like putting signs in the ground and stuff like that. So you can do a lot of things remotely. Who knew you could be a real estate agent remotely? Yeah, we're still kind of doing. Yeah, we're not pursuing it as vigorously as we were in California because we're not in California anymore, but it's still possible. So that was number one. Number two, my background. I used my background as a Hollywood editor to create a course for real estate agents to teach them to create better videos. I took two things that I know, real estate and video, and I put together a digital product. Digital products are the probably number one way to make money online. Online stuff, you don't need to be tethered to a zip code. You can be untethered. And I've been selling that product since 19 or 20, whatever year I put that product together, that's digital course. And does it take effort? Yes. It's not like, oh, here's a course, let me just throw an ad out there. No, it's constant work. I'm updating things all the time. I'm updating my ads and my sales funnel, all that stuff. So it's a ton of work, but it's a great way to make a living when you are traveling on the road. If you have a skill set, there are people that want to learn what you know. It doesn't matter if you play the guitar or you cut hair or you know how to make videos. Been to YouTube lately, you can learn anything online. You can learn basic things on YouTube, and then if you take a course, you can get it kind of spoon-fed to you more, which is what I do for real estate. So last year, most of our money came from real estate, and it was almost half of it came from digital products in 2020. And do you have something you want to say before I keep going?
Go ahead.
Okay, we have two YouTube channels. I have one that is for real estate agents, teaching them to create better videos. That's Trevor Jones Creator on YouTube. And I've got a bunch of free content there. And on that channel, I promote my digital product, my course. And we also have something called affiliate links. Now, a lot of people know what this is, but if you're new to that world, an affiliate link is like, hey, I talk about a product I like, and in the description is a link for it, and you can buy that product from somebody else, like on Amazon is a great place to start.
And I'm the one that is always, anytime Trevor will mention something, I'm like, well, do they have affiliate link? Because he's not always thinking like to do that, but I'll just say, and how do we get those affiliate links? We ask.
Yeah, Amazon
all the time.
Amazon, it's super easy.
Amazon is super easy, but some of the other ones we've just asked.
You just got to ask, yeah.
You know, a lot of the things that are listed, I'm always saying, so do they have an affiliate link? Meaning, because I love it, I want to share it with somebody.
Yes.
And that's the opportunity for us to share it and make a little bit of money.
And it doesn't cost the consumer anymore to buy it.
Nope. And in fact, sometimes they'll even give us a discount code for there's a few of our products that we have and that allows us to let people try the product for free.
So Amazon is just one of them. The cool thing about Amazon is you can promote any product and get a small commission for a lot of, it's not a ton. We don't make a ton of money on affiliate links, but we have, Amazon is one of our affiliates, but we have other affiliates. Like I've got a tool that allows people to download movie clips. I've got another affiliate link with captioning software. I've got an affiliate link with Adobe. I've got affiliate links with probably 10 other places, and all those things over time add up. And the more videos you have, just include all the affiliate links in all of your videos, and boom. Several years ago when I went full-time into real estate, I was asked to speak at my brokerage, and in that talk I said, I've got the dream of every Fortune, I want to be a full-time travel vlogger to make money off YouTube videos. And we're almost kind of there. The other way you can make money is with AdSense. If you watched this video and you don't have a YouTube premium account, you might have had to watch an ad or two. And so ads are running on my videos, so we make a little bit of money every month on our two YouTube channels just from what's called Google AdSense. So between digital products, Google AdSense, and affiliate links and real estate, we were able to travel full-time last year, and you can do exactly the same thing. Oh, we're also researching one other thing right now Leela's going to tell you about. And we don't know much about this, but a lot of people do this full-time as well. A lot of the travel vloggers you see, they do what Leela's going to tell you about. She's like, what are you talking about? Which is called Amazon FBA, Fulfilled by Amazon.
Well, that's what I thought it was.
Okay.
Okay, put me on the spot.
But, yeah, she's been researching that.
No, I have been, and I've been doing some really deep dives into Fulfilled by Amazon. I think there's some products that I really love. I think if you're going to do Fulfilled by Amazon, really research and find out what you really want to do. We met with some friends of ours that have traveled all over, and they've been literally geographically unencumbered for a very long time because of Fulfilled by Amazon. Now, it is work. There's some risk with that. as far as cost and things. So I've really been searching and trying to find, and there has been a lot more of an influx into that market of people trying
Competition.
competition. However, I really, really, truly believe it's like anything else. The reason we have a lot of success in our businesses and the things that we've done, because most people could do most of what we've done, is we are very consistent.
Yeah.
We get out there, we work it, we treat it as a business. It is at 100% a business, and it's the consistency. And you really have to go in and commit the time and consistency to do that work. And I really believe that the Fulfilled by Amazon, I'm just right now what I'm in the process of looking, because this is the piece that I 100% do not want to have to be responsible for, is the drop shipping element of that. So we had a product as part of our digital product in our course that required that I mail something, and
It's a pain.
I hated it.
But there's ways to get around
But
that.
there are ways to do this. I have one thing to say, and this is for Trevor's little brother, Joshua. I don't know, 15 plus years ago, he moved outside of California, and he wasn't married then, so I don't know how long they've been married. But anyway, I remember Trevor thinking, "Oh my gosh, how did you move outside of California?" And then he's just like literally the single dude at the time, but traveling and doing all these things. And then he got married, and he and his wife just travel and go, and
All the time.
all the time. They've been all over the world. And he said one of the things is when he moved away where it wasn't so costly for his overhead, the world became a very big place, because he had the ability just and the freedom, because he wasn't so financially encumbered to travel and to do. As a result of that, they've been able to make some businesses that keep them free and flowing. But I remember Joshua saying that to us, and I was so jealous that that they were doing what they did. And thanks, Joshua.
By the way, guess who planned the trip for us to go to Peru?
Yeah,
My brothers. That'd be Josh.
Yeah. So love you, bro.
Thanks, Josh. To see our whole adventure from the beginning, check out that link right up there. Make sure you hit subscribe right down there. Also, we got a 24/7 live stream in the forest, and there's a link for that one down there as well below. We can't wait to share our adventures with you.
You don't ramble. I just ramble. I'm the only one that rambles.
That's correct.
Okay.